Hello, hello, friends. Thanks for tuning into this broadcast today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the North Carolina Harmonica Fest. The Harp Fest coming is going to be fantastic. So I'm just going to take a minute, talk about it, encourage you guys to check it out. If you've never attended a harmonica event, it's one of the best ways to further your education on the instrument, connect with great folks, and learn from them as well, not just the teachers, and to have a chance to actually play, get up on stage and actually put some of this to use besides maybe a blues jam. So that's the idea behind the Carolina Harp Fest that is put on each year by Todd Parrott. So I just want to take a minute and talk about it. This year it's October 2nd through 5th. Let me get my page open. Like I said, this year's October 2nd through 5th. It's around the corner, everybody. So if you haven't heard about it, let me tell you a little bit about what's going on with the fest. It's in Concord, North Carolina. I believe that's not too far from Charlotte. If you were flying in, that's where you'd fly into. That's where I'm flying into. I am teaching at it this year, which is why I want to talk about it. It kicks off on the 2nd. Unfortunately, I can't make it there until the next day, so I will be there by the next day, though. But it starts with an open mic blues jam. You get 4 nights of live music from the instructors that are performing and your chance to jam until your heart's content. A lot of hangout time, seminars. Who's going to be there this year? That's a big question, right? Who is showing up this year? Well, I'll be there. Jamie Garner will be there. Obviously, Todd Parrott will be there. Peter Madcat Ruth, if you're unfamiliar with him, maybe you know him through my platform. He has been a guest artist on that. Johnny Sansone out of New Orleans, and he's a phenomenal player. He was a big influence on me early on. Jerry Fierro. These are all instructors that are going to be there. Ben Balmer, Connor Frontera, Shane Sager, Scotty, and I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Scotty, so I don't want to mess it up. Check out the website, ncharmonica.com, to learn more about it. And the Pitbull Blues Band is the band that backs up the instructors and all the jammers. And of course, you guys showing up will complete it all. So, welcome to the members that are tuning in. Hi, guys. Good to see you here this morning. So, that's what's going on. That's October 2nd through 5th. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with everybody that's coming out to the event. Another good resource that I would want to mention to everybody that I would consider becoming a part of and joining is SPA, which stands for the Society and Preservation for the Advancement of the Harmonica. This society is the most prevalent harmonica organization that you'll find, and they do conventions each year. So if you're not familiar with SPA, spah.org, that's their website, check that out. Get involved with the community. The harmonica community has a lot of great resources, but you need to get out sometimes in person and check things out, or at least support some of the causes by becoming a member, or do what you can. Look at all these members joining live. It's great to see you. If you haven't become a member to the channel yet, you can look for the join button, and there's some perks. It's a great way to support me, but you'll also get some kickbacks. I want to give a shout out to everybody that is here. Hey, Rand and Chris, TN Kid, what's up? And Steve. Well, you can't make this one, that's no problem. Usually this is an annual event. In fact, the last time I was supposed to be a part of it was right when the pandemic kicked off. I want to say March of 2020, March to April, in that zone. That didn't happen because everything started closing down. So here we are. It's circling all the way back around, for me at least, 4 years later, and I'll be there. Shane, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Yes, they have announced that SPA will be in San Antonio this coming year. So prepare for that. Again, just head to spah.org to kind of learn more and understand what that's about. I got some big news to share with you guys. I guess I could leak it right now. Let's leak it. Let's put it out there. Big, huge news. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Um, the news that I want to share with you guys outside of the North Carolina Harp Fest is that sometime before the year is out, and this I can say fairly confidently that before the year is out, I'm pretty sure that's the time frame. Sometimes I'm way off when I'm guessing when things will happen, but in this case, I'm pretty confident. I'm going to start an actual full blown membership through harmonica123.com. And I just want to mention what that means. Currently, I offer a very small membership that is just um, a Q&A session that happens every month where we get together. And that's cool. And you can check that out. But I'm going to be merging that into this bigger membership on a different tier. So you might want to wait. Maybe you shouldn't do that to keep it easier, make it easier. But what will this membership involve? Well, I currently have over, I think, 120 to 125 classes recorded that you can purchase a la carte on the website and actually download them. However, wouldn't it be cool if I had all of those blues harmonica classes available to stream and you had a membership for between 35 and 40 to 45 bucks a month, depending on the perks and the tiers of what else is available besides just the classes? Wouldn't that be cool? It would be, and it's going to be cool because that's what's happening. So I don't know any resource in the world currently that has as many blues harmonica focused classes. Okay, I know of other harmonica memberships, but nothing like this where you can gain access to all of these blues focused classes, song studies, technique, guest artist classes, conceptual, scale work, theory oriented stuff, and all of that mixed in. So that's what's coming up, man. I'm going to roll out this membership, like I said, before the year is out. As soon as it's ready, you'll know. I'll come on and talk about it, and I'll roll it out through my newsletter. If you're not a part of that, jump on Harmonica123. What's going on with everybody else out there? So be on the lookout for it. A lot of members joining. Basebone, what's up? Hi from KC. Good to see you here. Donald Rains, what's happening, Donnie? Good morning to you. So I'm very excited about this whole, about this membership. I mean, it's going to be incredible. It's going to take a lot of effort and work to get this up and rolling. Just starting the work and the grunt work of getting things fully downloaded and transferred over to like Vimeo, and then integration of the website and the redesign of all that. It's going to take a minute, minimum a few months or so, but I'm pretty motivated. And I'm excited to offer all that content to you guys on a monthly basis so you can just dig into these. There's been a lot of people that tune into this channel that are longtime supporters, and I appreciate all of you. And but now you can gain access to everything I've ever created, which is going to be exciting. So that's the big news coming down the pike here sooner than later. Harmonica-wise, what's going on? Well, I just mentioned that if you missed it, the Carolina Harp Fest coming October 2nd through 5th. And you can go to ncharmonica.com to learn more. I'll put it in the video description. I'm teaching this year with Todd and a bunch of great instructors and players. It's a wonderful opportunity to get your feet wet and sort of in playing and jamming and connecting with other players, and obviously all the learning through the seminars. And that's what's happening. That's the dealio. Oh, Steve, I see. That would have been pretty cool to be in Long Beach. It's been a long time since they've gone out to the West Coast. Pricing's a big factor for sure. What else is going on with you guys? Sometimes it'd be nice to come onto a live stream, and get questions early on. Often people are asking harmonica questions like deep into a live stream, but I'm never opposed to taking a quick question when I'm on here doing a live stream, unless I've got like a topic I'm teaching or want to present to you guys. But and I want to also shout out to all my members to let them know that I will get some fresh blues licks by ear videos that are exclusive to the Little Walter tier and higher. I'll get that going. I'll get one up probably today for you. There's at least a couple a month that I post that are exclusive to those members. And then I want to talk about possibly trying to do a totally free class for all the members. So if you're not a member, join the channel. That perk alone would be way more than the lowest tier you could sign up for $3 to $5 on my channel. And that would get you a free class, hopefully before September's out. That's my goal. But I do have a lot of travel coming up here, so we'll see. If not, October's around the corner. We can do it then. What can I tell you otherwise? I've been busy. I have been very busy here working on harmonica stuff. Got a low F in my hand. Maybe, how many people here own a low F? I'd love to hear how many people own a low F. Donnie's asking if I call Donald. I know Donald. He goes by Don or Donnie, so I call him Donnie sometimes. Don's asking, hey, wondering if riffs can be split. Absolutely. Some riffs better to split than others. The longer, the better. But a medium-sized riff, would be something like this. And then the second riff. So yeah, often when ideas on the harmonica, let's cross harmonica, low F. But often when they're moving up the harmonica and then back down, it's a perfect, because they often do that, it's a great opportunity to find a new idea by splitting it right there. So you guys have a low F? Okay, if you don't have a low F, then maybe consider getting one. My favorite's the Rocket Low F. This harmonica features my face on the box. Another outstanding perk. Just kidding. I'm not saying you should buy it for that, but they're actually redesigning all the images, and my name's going to be on the box this time when they release the new stuff here at the end of the year or early in 2025 is what I'm understanding. And the Rocket Low F is just a phenomenal harmonica. So, whoops. It's tuned well and it's super airtight. I really like playing these low keys to break up, especially for those higher keys like an F harmonica. It has its place. I mean, there's plenty of songs from like I can hear right now James Cotton and Sonny Boy and Snooky Pryor who use like a high F decent amount. It has its application, and there's times when I'd prefer the standard F to the low, but most of the time I'm kind of leaning towards the low F. It's just a little easier on the ears, and once you get a sense for how to bend on these low tune harmonicas, it really opens up your range of expression for improvisation, not just the chording and self, playing on your own, not just that kind of stuff, but riffing on it. So if you don't own a low F, I highly recommend getting one. The Thunderbird's a great harmonica too. It's a bit more expensive though, much more expensive. Hey, thanks for the plug on the membership. I can vouch that your memberships that you get more than the money's worth. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Glad to hear that. Okay. Just got a low C and love it. All right. Now it's time to get a low F. Low C's are really cool. Low D's are really cool too. Do I play a different low harp in high part? Yeah, I mean, I play the upper end. If that's what you're asking, I play the upper end of the harmonica of these low keys a lot. The blow bends become really friendly. That's one of the big advantages. Any bass harmonicas out there? That's a different beast. Yeah, Nick Clark just picked one up. I haven't talked to him about it much, and I've been hanging out with him a lot lately, doing some gigs and just hanging out in free time. But I forgot to ask him about how that's going. Bass harmonic is a totally different beast. I wouldn't purchase one of those. I wouldn't recommend it unless you have a very specific application you know that you want to use it for. Pete says Tainted Love by Soft Cell. Is that the Tainted Love I'm thinking of from like the 80s? That's a great song. I used to love that song. I think you're talking about Manji's. Yeah, the low man is good. You mean the Manji probably. Low D is cool. Yeah, the low D is pretty sweet. Yeah, and the low F sharp is cool. I've got a low F sharp. Um, those are great. Less desirable keys compared to a low F. You'd want to start with that low F, is my opinion. So, what's step one with a low? I've done a couple videos. Maybe a year or two back, I did a video on titled "I have a low F, now what?" or a low tuned harmonica, now what? You know, and that video talks about the different things that I do with it. But in general, the gist of it is get used to playing chordal oriented things at first and rhythm playing and see how good that feels to play on a low tuned harmonica, and then slowly work into trying to work your bends starting on like six and then four and then three and two and one, just keep going down. Of course, we talked about the five draw bend. You might as well work that in. And the high end. Dirty notes are a great thing to explore on these low tuned harmonicas also. When you bring in two holes at the same time. It's just got a great sound. You can't deny these low tuned harmonicas. And you can totally bring it on stage with a band. You can improvise on that low F and other low keys too. Here's something cool to share with you. Here's a low F that I think, I think Tom put this together from Blue Moon. It's a Thunderbird, but it's got the comb that like a I don't know what that is. I don't know what comb that is, but I can tell it's a custom comb. It's a wood comb of some sort, a denser wood, much denser than like parawood. And it's really smooth. But what stands out about this particular low F is that it's got more volume than an out of the box, even a Thunderbird or anything. And the tuning of it is just spot on. And I misplaced it for like a couple years, and then I found it again recently. I was like, oh my god, why? Where's this been? And that'll happen if you acquire too many harmonicas and too many harmonica gadgets and things. You need to keep track of them because one day you'll be like, oh, where's that thing? Or you'll come across it and go, oh my god, I forgot all about that. You don't want that. You did get a bass harmonica. Well, your name's Bassbone, so that makes sense. Oh, cool, man. The Big River Musical. Nice. Okay. Perfect. So there's an application where that makes sense. Those bass harmonicas have a wonderful sound. You just don't hear them out there in the wild too much. You know, back in the day when there was harmonica trios, they would have bass harmonica chromatic, tremolo, chordal harmonicas, and then sometimes a diatonic in the mix. Like, but that was less common. Um, but nowadays you don't really hear it. It seems like you're literally, a lot of folks are buying it. You're just playing bass lines on that thing. So again, the application's narrow, but man, if you need something like that, it's incredible. Dennis, welcome. You made it to a live. All right, folks, take care. I'll see you later. Just kidding. um, we're talking about low tunings, bass harmonicas. Um, what else do I have around here that's kind of a unique? All my stuff is scattered. I want to talk about something that I haven't talked about in a while. Amplified harmonica for just a second. I know I'm kind of all over the map, but I just want to come on and make the announcement about the Carolina Harp Fest and let you know the big news about the full blown membership for harmonica123.com coming. Check that out if you missed that. Go back and watch the stream here. But amplified harmonica is something that gets discussed a decent amount, but I just want to say that if you're new to playing, I highly recommend you develop technique with the microphone primarily to begin so that you can get the best sound possible and understand kind of a basic of how to set up your amplifier, whether it's a small or mid or larger size amp, and know that you don't need to buy any pedals to start until you're really sure that that's something you want to explore and that you kind of have an understanding of how you might use it. Because in my experience, this is just okay. This is my experience. This is my opinion. I realize that it will differ from person to person, but like the biggest sound I get is when I plug straight into an amplifier. The best quality sound that I can produce is without using any pedals. And the reason for that is that every time I add an additional layer, not always, like it depends on the pedal, but often it's a game of sort of compression that's happening where it's getting further and further compressed, and eventually the tone just becomes squashed compared to plugging straight into the amp. So as a purist, more of a traditional blues harp guy, I really love that. And by the way, I wasn't always a purist or blues harmonica guy. I played funk and psychedelic stuff, and I had analog delay pedals that did. I was going wah wah wah. I was doing crazy stuff. If you haven't heard what I've done with that group back in the late '90s and up to 2000, it was called Available Jones. It was some crazy stuff. I mean, that was 24 years ago. Crazy to think about that. And I used all those pedals. I used a chorus. I had all guitar pedals. We didn't have harmonica pedals at that point. There weren't like harmonica manufacturers making pedals. My point is just go slow. Learn how to work the mic. There's a lot of technique you can get with the relationship of your hands, how they fit to say a bullet mic, and how that works with your face. I've got a whole full blown class on amplified blues harmonica. But one big tip I'll give you is on larger amps, like a Bassman, like anything like that, you really don't need much bass turned up if you have good technique. So what's happening is you may not like it and you keep cranking the bass. Now you're in feedback zone. A lot of people have feedback problems because they're cranking the tone knobs and the volume. So when you learn good technique, you gain volume from the technique, the hand technique, and breathing properly. And then you can crank the bass down a little bit, at least towards, let's say 4 or 5 as opposed to like 7. The better your technique, the less that you need of bass specifically on those larger amps. Now, small amps is totally different. You can really experiment. Usually there's just a tone knob, but if there's treble and bass, you can play with it and get it how you want it. But with a large amp, be careful. Your tone's going to get real muddy when you crank that bass up. There is a point where you need some of it, but talk mics. Well, I'm a big fan of. Well, let's see. I love the shells. Starting with shells. I like small shell Sures and A-statics, and I like Greg Human's custom mics as far as the fit and feel of shells. Then there's the Element, and Nick brought to the gig that we just played on Friday. He had picked up a CR, controlled reluctance, and that sounded great. Has a really cool sound, big fat tone, and you can find like crystal elements like 151, I want to say, and A statics. Those are great, and ceramic elements are nice. Um, yeah, those are kind of some of the, and obviously, well, Greg Human makes his own element that I also play, the Human element. You can get that installed in anything. It's not, you have to pay, you got to pay for it. They're not really inexpensive, but instead of buying a whole bunch of mics and exploring, maybe take my tip and just grab like an A static or a crystal or something like that. It's going to give you a nice breakup. If you're getting started, you might want a little more of that. A CR will give you some breakup too, but the crystals tend to really give you that fuzzier breakup sound if that's what you're after. Steve, I do not have a stage 5 I can sell you. I only have my own. But they come up every once in a while. I see them for sale on Facebook. Stick around Facebook and look Marketplace and some of the amp and or microphone groups that are specific to harmonica, obviously, on Facebook. So yeah, speaking of delay, let's talk about it. Basebone says, I agree with your thoughts, but I like a little bit of delay. Um, I do too sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with using that delay. Big thing about delay that I don't like is when people crank it and it just sounds swimmy and thinner versus just using a little bit of the controls to just try a tiny bit of that effect on there. The reason most people started using delays, as far as I understand, was to fatten up the tone, not to make it smaller or to get the effect of this crazy delay sound. It's just an effect. So really, when in a blues harmonica context, there's not much actual delay going on when you plug in a delay. Does that make sense, everybody? So you're actually just getting like a big full tone, and it can help cut through the mix. So I'm not opposed to using a delay, and actually I'm kind of more curious lately when I've been using my basement to kind of, I didn't bring it on the last tour. I kind of wish I had, just to play with it occasionally. But often when I'm using a delay pedal, even when it's set to my perfect preferred setting, I still often unplug it at gigs. There's something about going straight into an amp when you've got good technique and a good tone. You can't beat plugging straight into like a bassman. Just my opinion. Calrad, that's right. I haven't heard that name in a while. Calrad mic, yeah. But a little bit of delay can sound beautiful. In fact, out of all the pedals, that's the one I would recommend. If you're going to buy a pedal, start with delay. And Lone Wolf is one of the best resources for that. Lone Wolf Blues is a great company with a great owner, Randy Landry, who runs the company, stands behind all his products, will help you if there's a problem. He makes great stuff, and that's the kind of, I own that pedal and maybe one or two others from him as well. Pete says he likes the slapback delay. Um, the Hohner HHB52 harmonica amp, David, is that the one that they came out with like 15 years ago? Let me type that in the old internet. Hohner, where'd it go? HHB5T. Let's see if I can pull that up. Okay. Yeah, this is the one that this is probably going to be the one that they came out with a long time ago. I just need to find an image of it. Yeah. Okay, you ready for it? I'm going to give you my thoughts, David. I think it's one of the worst amps ever made. At least you got my honest opinion. Hohner so they didn't continue making it for very long for good reason. It's just not a good harmonica amp. It kind of gives you the opposite sound of what you'd want. It's thin and it's ratty sounding. I don't like it. It's one of the only Hohner products that ever came out that I was like, what is going on here? So I'm glad they discontinued it. I just wanted to be honest with you, let you know that's what I really think about that amp. Okay. Too much delay makes too much noise. Yeah, it just can interfere in general. Analog or tape echo, well, they both can be great. Tape echo is more of along the lines of following some old school recordings, possibly that we've heard where they talk about tape delay, or using whatever that specifically means. I don't totally understand all of it. But yeah, you just got to experiment. Ideally, you wouldn't want to buy it and then have to sell it if you're unsure. If you can get your hands on something and try it from like somebody who's selling a used pedal, that would be better. David, I bought it. Nobody wants it. Here's a recommendation, David. Go to your local, for example, in Colorado here, in Denver, we've got a place called Gravity Music. They pay fair prices for used gear. They may not give you exactly what you want, but it's better than any place I found. You might have somewhere locally where you can go and sell it to a music store that sells used gear or can try to sell it for you. Or pawn shop I wouldn't do. They're not going to give you squat. They'll give you like $10. You know what I mean? Well, like you might get something out of it. Whatever you get, you'll be happy, I'm sure. Um, if you hold on to it long enough, maybe it'll become valuable because they won't have been around forever. I don't think so, though. I don't know the Bugera amp, actually. I'll have to look into that, Rand. And the Supro, of course, those are nice amps. They're making amps again, not just the vintage stuff, but they're making new stuff. Um, so somebody's asking about the XB40. That's the one that's not made anymore. That was one of Stevie Wonder's favorite harmonicas, by the way. So it's interesting. So somebody else is writing, hey, that's a gimmick, overpriced gimmick. And it was one of Stevie Wonder's favorite harmonicas. Go figure. Stevie Wonder must know something about music. He definitely does. But that doesn't mean it's for everybody. I don't want to play an XB40. Not in the context of blues. I certainly don't. But I don't know enough about it. I can't remember all the details. And again, they're not being sold as far as I know. Can you buy an XB40? I don't think so, unless you find one used. Now I'm curious. I'm typing everything in on the internet. I only have a little more time today, so maybe there's backstock. Like reverb.com has got some old harmonicas. I don't know. That's a dangerous game buying used harmonicas though. Kyron, what's up? I like amps that give me a clean sound. Yeah. What's cool with a clean sound is that you can shape it with technique and with pedals. You have options from there. Oh, the speaker, the Bulgaris speaker. I don't know that name. I'll have to look into that. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to explore in the harmonica world, but go slowly, Spend your money on education. Number one, connect with somebody like me. We could do a private lesson. I don't really talk about that because I don't have a lot of space and time to add new students, but I can fill somebody in on a one off lesson. If you need a lesson where you just want to get feedback and tips, and they're all recorded through Zoom. If you can join me in Zoom, you can record it to your computer. It might be worth it to connect with me, and we could do something like that. But it's better to spend your money on instruments and microphones, pedals, all this slowly until you've gained a better understanding of what these are going to really do for you and why you want them. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Where is that harmon? I don't know where I put it. I have a B radical. Where is that thing? Hold on. Let me see if it's right here. I don't know if I kept it up here. It's not in there. I don't know where that is right now. I'll do that another time though. I will do that. Do I need to change anything on a Fender Junior? Yes, in my opinion, because I plugged into a Fender Junior when I didn't have an amp at a gig. Mine was not working, and that was all that was available. They're going to be real feedback heavy and bright and not a good sound unless you change out and swap at least like the preamp tube to get that AX7 out of there. Put in like a Y7 or a U7. That's going to help you put you in the right direction. And there's other forums for modifying blues, Fender Juniors and things like that. Uh, so you can kind of Google that and look it up. there might be other things to do besides. But the tube swap, the preamp tube swaps are a big step in the right direction. I don't know anything about that, Charles, sorry about that. And thanks for being a member. I don't know anything about the Katana Mini. Now you guys got me looking up all this stuff. There are some inexpensive amps that are stock from various companies that can that have like modeling built in. They're supposed to sound like a blackface or whatever. And some of those actually are halfway decent. Even like one of the Fenders that I can't think of right now. I want to say David Barrett did a whole write up on this. He tested them all and there was like videos. I don't know where that is. I see the Katana Mini. I'm looking at it now. Inexpensive. Interesting. I'd have to plug in. I don't know anything about that. VHT, that's right. They make a small one. So it's kind of like this. We get into something like a new hobby, or we're invested in learning a new instrument, let's say, and you actually want to take it serious. You're inundated. The more you look, the more confusing it gets. Start slow. Even if you have a good budget, don't just blow it all. Wait. Um, if it were me, I'd like to get tell beginners, get a 5 watt amp to start. Get a practice amp that's good for quiet gigs or just at home, or something you could mic occasionally in a small, quieter setting and get it to be louder. Start simple. Get a good sound, work that amp, get used to it, then grow into a larger amp when you're ready and have those opportunities to perform more. So that's what I got today. It's really good to hang with you, all of you today. Appreciate you checking out the live stream. Interesting. The Spark Go. Never heard of that either. There's so many. What I don't like in the microphone world, just to add this to the mix, is I'm not a fan of the new green bullets. If they're still selling those I don't like the sound of that as much. And that's what most people buy because that's what's available and out there. Honer makes a new microphone. I can't remember the model number, but it's the only microphone they sell. It is a smaller bullet mic, the Blaster, something Blaster, but it's cool. It's got a volume control. The only thing I don't love maybe is that it has XLR connection, which should be good and stronger, and some people prefer that. I'm just used to a 1/4 inch plug-in. That's what I like to use with a volume controller adapter, switchcraft adapter. That's what I prefer. Maybe it's because I'm old school like that, but that's the only downside is I don't like having to use an XLR mic because if you step on it, you can start to really, it won't give. You can really ruin the input that way. You have to be very careful. So there it is, JH. I just talked about it. Harp blasters. They are good mics though. And if you want to make sure you get one that's pretty good mic, what did I plug it into that I loved? The small vintage amps sound great with that mic. Because I want to say it's a dynamic element, but I can't remember. Dennis, you better email me about that. It's not ringing a bell. Just send me an email at info@harmonica123.com. Yeah, email me about that. David, I'll answer that question just real quick. Um, so you got headaches moving your head back and forth for these warbles or head shakes. It's not so much that you're losing technique by doing the hand and moving the hand back and forth. You're just getting a different sound. I prefer the head shake, but a lot of greats did use this too. They used both. I'm terrible at it. I don't practice it because I don't use it. But either way, it's not a cop out by any stretch, though. All right, everybody. There you go. People are finding options. You should always set your amps up to where they don't feed back. Even when the mic's turned up all the way and it's within a foot of the speaker right in front of it, it shouldn't feed back. That's how you know it's set right. If it's feeding back before you even play it, it's not going to be good. So turn that down a little bit. All right, y'all make it a great day. And I'll see some of you soon at the beginning of October in North Carolina. I hope to catch up with some of you there, work with you in person. And yeah, make it a great day. I'll catch you soon. I'll come back and do another live stream before you know it. Adios.